Welcome back, everyone. And today we're here with Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm a music major at Mesa Community College.
And how's that going?
It's pretty well. I'm enjoying it a lot. I play a lot of jazz guitar, so
That's cool. Yeah. So, do you have a question to ask me?
yeah. I just wanted to ask you, what is a credit score?
It gives you the ability to tell lenders, right, that give you loans, stuff like that you're a responsible person and that you'll pay it on time.
Like if I have a credit card and
Yeah.
I've paid it off consistently.
Oh, yeah.
What would my score be at the moment? Or
You should be like at a high moment. If you're doing everything responsible, like paying your bills on time, not late, or you're not stacking up many credit cards or debt, it should be a good score. Like,
cool. Well, thank you.
yeah. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Leia, one of the students at MCC.
Yeah, what's up? My name is Leia. I'm studying right now counseling. I want to be a therapist, and I want to incorporate gymnastics into therapy, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I've been coaching gymnastics for about 10 years now, and I've just seen how physical education really impacts mental health in children, and just we have a big mental health crisis here in America, and how we can fix it is through our kids and through the future, and so it's something that I'm very passionate about.
That's really good. Do you have any tips or tricks for students for MCC, for money-wise?
Yeah, so the biggest thing for me that I learned, Dave Ramsey is...
Dave Ramsey.
He's a great person, just speaker. I did a course about 10 years ago when I was 18 on just some basic financial literacy, and the thing that I still do today is name my money.
Yeah.
I give my money a name, and when I do any kind of budgeting, or if I'm trying to, I try every other Friday when I get my paycheck to dissect my money and then give it each a name. So I put some money aside for rent, that money is named rent. I put some money aside for my nails, that money is named nails.
Yeah.
So I find that naming my money really helps me just be aware of where my money is going and actually save it.
Yeah. Another question, you said budget, right?
Yeah.
What type of budget do you do?
I literally just write. I have a template that I made myself on Excel.
The functions?
Yeah, the functions.
Yeah.
I have some functions preset, so it's so that way I just have to plug it in, and all my money name is just already there. So I get my check. Let's say it's $1,000, and I literally just under the $1,000 I subtract $50 for nails and $100 for groceries and $45 for eating out this week, or whatever, and so that's literally how I do it until I zero it out.
That's really cool, because not only that does it help you out easily, time wise, but you could access it from your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Because there's a lot of budgeting apps out there, and I've noticed that some of them are very great.
Yeah.
They're really helpful, but you either have to subscribe to them and pay more money, which I don't want to do, or you have to abide by their structure of the budget, and I don't always like their structure, because a lot of times it's a monthly budget, or it's half a month budget, and I don't get paid the same as everybody else, so I can't budget the same way.
Yeah, it doesn't fit with your criteria,
Exactly. I have Google Sheets on my phone, so I literally just go in there and subtract if I spend.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Liam.
Hi, everyone. My name is Liam. I'm a theater and arts major, mainly fashion design, and I've been at MCC this is my first semester, so.
How's it going so far?
It's going great. College is terrifying at first, but once you get the hang of it, you learn to love it, and you learn so much that you wouldn't think you'd learn, and so I'm really excited to continue to go forward.
Do you have any tips or tricks for students to save on money?
Okay, yes. My thing is that if you did really good in high school, or even if you struggled in high school, look for all sorts of avenues for scholarships and grants, because there are so many grants and scholarships out there that have not been taken advantage of, that you can get your hands on, and you can have money to go to school, as well as it's important that when you're in school to get good grades, because that, I think, allows you to get future scholarships and grants. So because you don't want to be in your 40s and 30s paying off your student loans.
Yeah, that's bad.
that adds up, even from community college.
A saying that I heard in social media that not many people realize that there's a lot of money in scholarships
Yeah.
that people don't take opportunity of.
I think there's just even scholarships for having, an unfortunate childhood like
Yeah.
myself. And so there's all sorts of different ones that are out there that you just got to look for and reach out to people who would know and
Yeah.
get a hand of those. When I was in high school, I'm going to be real honest here. My GPA, I think, was 2.5. And I wanted to I didn't think I was going to go to college because my family couldn't afford it. And I was told that, you can get scholarships. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, my grades aren't great. I had a really big struggle. But there is even, I guess I'm like a good example of, you don't have to be, this Einstein type person, straight A's.
Exactly.
To get scholarship to go to college. You just got to put in the effort, enough effort to show that you want to get a better education.
Yeah.
And you just got to take advantage of those resources.
Exactly. You could also do pre-applications, because mostly all the applications are the same questions, like what do you want to do, what's your future goals and stuff like that. For scholarships next semester, write a application. It's
Right.
mostly all the same questions, stuff like that.
sure.
So have that.
What I would recommend is if you are on a scholarship, open a separate bank account for your scholarship in particular. So that way your scholarship money isn't contradicting and going along with your personal finances.
Oh, yeah.
So that way you're not, let's say you want to go, you have to get something from the store. You're not taking money out of your scholarship account.
You're taking out money from
your personal. And so you can keep your scholarship account away, as well as, nothing's certain, unfortunately, in life. And so when you do eventually, let's say you do run out of money from a scholarship or a grant, I think would be recommended that every little bit of your paycheck, just add a couple more dollars in there, whether it's a little amount or a big amount, just add that so you always have something to fall back on. Just say, oh no, I'm running out. Like, oh no, I got $30 I can put in now.
Yeah.
So there's just little stuff like that I think you could do. And I would also recommend that if you have a great relationship with your parents and you love your home, don't rush to move out. Live with your parents while you can. If they're great people, if they're not great people, I get it. But if you have a great relationship with your parents and they're willing to have you stay there, it's important that you have a place to stay while you're going through college, because housing isn't cheap.
Hey everybody, now we're here with Ryan, and Ryan has a question. What is your question that you would like to ask?
Yeah, so I'd love to ask, if you were to win the lottery, what's the first three things that you would do with your money?
Oh, what would I do with my money? Well, one thing that I do not enjoy doing is cooking every day. So I would probably hire a personal chef. And just, pay them an annual salary so they're always there. They're also going to do the shopping for me. And let's see, what else? I would take my family on a trip to Europe or maybe just around the world, right? Depending on how much money I've won. And I think that I possibly would put in my notice at work and be like, I'm out. I'm going to go do things.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would do. Can I ask you the same question?
Sure.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
I think one thing, I've always loved cooking, so I think I'd pay for myself to go to culinary school. I think if I had, just the money to throw at it, I think I'd love to perfect my skills and maybe, work my way to become a personal chef. I think that'd be sick. And I also love what you said about traveling, so I think I'd definitely go tour Europe with, some money in my backpack and, go, climb up some rocks. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Nice.
So.
Hello, everybody, and we're here with Brock.
My name is Brock Christie. I'm a student here at Mesa Community Colleges. I'm a photographer and a full-time student. So, you know the painter Vincent Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, that pretty famous now, right?
Yeah.
So Van Gogh, he was he died poor, right? Yeah, he did not know that his art was going to be priceless. Meaning, you can go to a museum and say, "I'll give you $50 trillion for this painting," and they're going to laugh at you. You can't buy these things.
Yeah.
But he had no idea. The relevance of that is that even with finances and stuff, a lot of people ask, and they say, when is my time? When am I going to make it? When am I going to have my moment. Am I going to be famous? Your moment is now.
Yeah.
You are your moment. Vincent van Gogh had his moment his entire life. He had to let the world catch up to him.
Yeah.
But if you define your time now as you are doing it, you will do it because your time is now.
That's a really great point. My
Thank
eyes
you.
are open. Many people like live on the moment, but they don't really like consider the moment. If that makes sense, you know?
Right.
They don't really take consideration like, oh, I could invest later, or I could do my responsibilities later, you know, stuff like that. Like they've set it aside. Like how you said, like do your moment now. Like start whatever your plan is. Like if your plan is to save money, start a business, or you know, just something simple, you know, start it now.
Right. If you're assessing your success based off of where the world is at, you're just chasing it.
Yeah.
If you define your success as now and find passion in what you're doing, the world will catch up.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you, well,
Yeah.
too. One, do you have any tips or tricks for students, college, or anyone specific to save on money or anything like that?
Yeah. Saving money is easier thing said than done.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
There's an old saying back home. We say it's burning a hole in our pocket. So you got to get that money out really quick,
Yeah.
right? We got to spend it. But it is absolutely financially smart to have not just one savings, but a little bit. And if it doesn't have to be, hey, I'm going to save $100 this paycheck. It could be, I'm going to save $2 this paycheck. Whatever is feasible is 100% something that's going to give you some sort of return. When you do spend your money, spend it in investments or invest in your passion. I think that's a good way to put that.
Yeah. Save something instead of nothing, you know, like how you pointed out in your first part. And investing, it could be anything. Like how you said, your crafts. Like if you're passionate about like photography or music or stuff like that, invest it in that and make it into a career, you know?
Right. Any money you put towards your passion is a very good investment.
Yeah.
100%.
Because when people think of investment, they're like, oh, stocks, bonds. But in reality, it could also be your passion as well.
Hi, William. How are you today?
Doing well. How are you, Natalia?
I'm very excited to record today in College Cash Corner. So, what's your question for me?
What should I know about taking out student loans if I have to?
Okay, so the first thing that you should know if you want to take loans is that how much you need. When you apply for your FAFSA or when you are requesting a student loan, the companies or the government is offering you an amount, but you don't know exactly how much you need. So for this, we first recommend students to budget. How much you are going to need for your education, how much are you going to need for paying for your needs and your wants, and based on that, ask for the right amount. And second consideration is look at the jobs after you graduate and never take more in your student's loans of how much you might make for your first year. Because considering that you graduate, you get a good job and you get paid, you don't want to keep that loan for a long time because your interests are going to earn and you will be ending owing a lot of money. So the recommendation is always to don't ask for more than the money that you can get in 1 year.
Got it. I have another question too. What do you know about money now that you wish you had known sooner?
Well, before getting this job, I used to budget, but not in the right way. I used to budget, I think just considering my needs and my wants. And it was until I get this job, I realized I needed to have savings and an emergency fund. And how important was it? And after 6 months in this job, I actually had an emergency. And because I had an emergency fund, I was able to pay and don't have any difficulties, and the emergency wasn't that bad because I had the money to pay for it. So I think that was a very good learning.
That's a really good learning experience. Yeah. An emergency fund is absolutely essential for being a responsible person with their money. And I think it's really good to talk about that and know more about how an emergency fund can help you and exactly how much to put there monthly, weekly.
Do you have an emergency account or
No.
emergency amount?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. Do you know how to calculate that amount?
No.
Okay. So the first step is, of course, like think about how much you can save. But the recommendation, once you figure it out, that is to keep at least 3 months of your expenses.
Got it.
That's like a good. Some experts recommend that amount, 3 months of your expenses.
Got it. And then how about this? What is a money topic that you want to know more about?
Probably investment.
Investment?
Yeah, I think as a student, I don't get a lot of information about my investment options
Yeah.
and the trends and information I should be looking for, like the data or how to read that type of information. So I think that's very crucial, especially because as how I see it now, life, it gets harder in terms of payments and financially. To get a house is way more difficult than what it was years ago. And I think a very good tool for that is having a good investment account and knowing how to manage that.
Got it. When should you start investing in that?
I think the best time to invest is as soon as possible. As how I see it is you can start by saving an amount and then moving on to investment.
Super cool. Thank you so much, Natalia.
Thank you. Okay, so today we are with David in College Cash Corner. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm really good. So let's start. What do you think is your relationship with finance? Meaning, do you spend a lot of money? You think you save a lot? Like, how do you relate with your money?
Well, with my money, I like to try to save and keep a budget, if that makes sense. I like to have different savings for different things.
Okay.
So my biggest 3 savings I have is, my number 1 is education.
Okay.
So currently, this is my first year, second semester at MCC. So, and I don't have any financial aid or any scholarships, sadly. So I'm paying all out of pocket. So it's a little bit difficult, especially, with being a full-time student. So paying for those classes and working a job at the same time.
Okay.
While also having my second savings is for sports. I do athletics. I like to do soccer. One day I want to be playing soccer for MCC.
Okay.
That's the goal.
That's really cool.
Yeah, to practice and spend all of that is a different savings I have to do. So I have my school one priority, which is probably the most expensive one, and then my sports and fitness, gym, all that kind of things. And then eventually I'll have like a little bit of, if I have any left over, which sometimes I don't, sadly, I'll use it for like things that I like. And that's usually like small, cheap kind of fun things that I like to do. So whether it's going out with some friends or like getting at least a dinner for a night, because sometimes I have to get food or things like that, because it's difficult. It's really difficult, to be honest.
If you don't mind asking, if you don't mind asking, do you live with your parents? You live by yourself? What's your financial situation right now?
Currently, I am living with my parents.
Okay.
They're very supportive and really helpful. They're making sure, stay in school, do good, really supportive of my ambitions and everything. And I really am grateful for that. And it gives me a roof to stay, because I don't know what I would be doing going to school, because I personally also want to go to school and get a degree here and transfer university. So it would be very difficult if I were to just jump into college with no place to go back home. I wouldn't have, and I would have to worry about other bills like rent, food, groceries, everything like that. So I'm grateful for the parents I have that are keeping me happy.
That's awesome. What do you think education is important?
Why do I think education is important?
Yeah, like why do you think you should be spending, or you're spending your money on it?
It's a good background, because the whole dream of mine is I want to go professional sports.
Okay.
I want to do soccer, and that having a good background, I'm majoring in business.
Okay.
And having a good business background to just support it, because for sports and athletics, it doesn't last forever. You get older, so it's a good backup just in case. And yeah, it's stability.
What is the first money lesson you learned?
Is that it blows really quick. After
Okay.
getting my first job and having my first paycheck and everything, I was really excited. I made the mistake, the buyer's mistake, where I went over, blew it all, got some things I wanted, whether it be like clothes or I just like went off, just getting things that I liked. But then I wasn't responsible with it. So then when the time of payment had to come, luckily I had the chance to reschedule because MCC does that where you can reschedule a day of the month. So I was lucky enough to do that. And I was so close when the due date was coming that I was like did not have enough money. So that was my biggest mistake. First lesson taught. So now every single time I get a paycheck, I make sure in advance at least I have a payment of a month ahead. So once I have that payment secured, let's say even if I get my paycheck of a little bit, like it's not yet there, but then I know, okay, I can spend a little bit of this here because in the next paycheck that doesn't come in a month for the payment, I can build that up so that when the payment does come, I'll have enough to cover it all. So it's just tracking.
You mentioned that you budget. Is this something that you do every month, every week, or how often do you budget?
How often do I budget? It's like a everyday kind of thing. Well, if I don't, I make sure not to spend as much as possible. So I rarely touch my money. And when I do want to get something and it's tempting, sometimes it's hard to say no. And when I do, if I feel like, okay, I'm fine with losing this right now, as long as I can make it up somehow, then that's when I see how much will it affect my my status on my money right now, and if it can be remade easily. So that's when I do make the decision of purchasing. Then I check as well after I purchase exactly how much it was. I'm looking at into it, so I keep record of like, okay, that's what I bought for that, and that's what I want. But usually it's like I'm so picky when it comes to budgeting because like even if it's say an item like that's $20 or over, I will be so tempted not to do that because like as much as it looks cool and $20 doesn't seem like a lot for people because it's like I gotta save for that. So sometimes it's a bummer, especially when it's something you like, but you gotta say no.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, David. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your tricks and tips.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So now with us is Rudy in the table. So Rudy wants to ask us some questions. So go on, Rudy.
Yeah. So why is credit score so important?
Okay, credit score shows how do you manage your money, basically. So it measures different factors such as your history, how much money you borrow. Like it doesn't tell, your credit score is not how much money you borrow, but it's one of the percentage that give you the score or the record. Another factor is the use of your credit card. This means that how many credit cards have you ever had? How did you use them? For example, if you in one point in your life take a lot of credit cards, this is gonna lower your credit score because the understanding behind that is that you are in need of money and that's why you are taking all of those credit cards, and that might seem as that you have a poor understanding of how to manage your money, and because of that you are not trust to be borrowing money. So it's very important to have a good credit score, and is most of the times used by everything. Like when you get a new account in your bank, or if you want to rent a house. My personal experience was that when I tried to rent my apartment, they asked me for my credit card, for my credit score, and they check all of that. And recently, they are adding it as a part of the requirements when you get a job, to see how responsible are you. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what's a good credit score, do you think?
So a good credit score goes from 670 to 749. An excellent credit score, just so you have a reference, is 850. So 100 points less than that is still good.
And then what are the categories that make like the credit score? Like you're talking about like the open accounts you had, and then what else goes into it?
Okay, so 10% is when you get a new credit. This means that 10% is based on how many credit cards you get, how many new credit cards you get. Then there is 15% for late and credit card history. This considers everything expense that you have had with your credit card. Then you have your 10% for credit mix. Then you have 30% for amounts owned. And this 30% is very important because it's a recommendation by many experts that you shouldn't borrow from your credit card more than the 30% that is offered. That means if you have $1,000 and you should be using just $300.
Yeah.
If you are borrowing more, that's going to affect the 30% in your credit score. And the last percent is 35% in your payment history. So this is if you have any, if you didn't pay on time, or if how many times you didn't pay on time, or what's the pattern in your payments. Thank you, Rudy.
Yeah.
We would like to give a big shout out to the new Media Lab Experience, who helps us put this podcast together. And if you have a project that you're working on and you need some assistance or help, or are interested in doing some kind of media for your project, you should check out new Media Lab Experience. They have open lab hours, and you can sign up to work on a project with them. They'd be happy to help.
Before we go, we want to emphasize that the financial literacy team is here to provide support and guidance to MCC students on their journey to improving and maintaining their financial knowledge. You can find us on MCC's financial aid website by clicking on the financial literacy section on the left side. There you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with a peer mentor if you have questions or want personal support with your financial goals, access a free cash course account, stay informed about upcoming workshops and events, and explore additional financial information. Remember, financial literacy is key to achieving your goals, and we're here to provide you with the knowledge, resources, and tools you need. Until next time, take control of your finances and make your college dreams a reality.